Before marriage, I was very expressive. I was playful and full of dreams. I wanted to write, travel, and create things. Anytime I brought up a new idea or wanted to do something different, she would shut it down, sometimes with spiritual reasons, sometimes with practical ones. Have any other men felt this way in marriage? So this is a common one amongst men. This man is not being abused. The woman is not disrespectful. There is no scandal between them. But he feels like a stranger in his own marriage. So in this episode of the Act Me series, we're going to be reading this story, or this one sent in from a man who says he's married to a very good woman, but somehow he has lost himself. Let's get right into it. And don't forget that if you've got a story, you share it through the anonymous link in the description. I'll go right into the story. It says, I'm 38. I'm married for 5 years now. We have 2 beautiful children. And on paper, everything looks perfect. My wife is a great woman. She's a planner. She's responsible. She holds down the home. She prays and she genuinely loves me. But somewhere along the line, I feel like I disappeared. Before marriage, I was very expressive. I was playful and full of dreams. I wanted to write, travel, and create things. But over time, I started shrinking myself to keep the peace. Anytime I brought up a new idea or wanted to do something different, she would shut it down, sometimes with spiritual reasons, sometimes with practical ones. We don't fight, but I always feel like I'm walking on eggshells, watching what I say, adjusting who I am to avoid disturbing the peace. I've tried to bring this up a few times, but she either gets defensive or tells me to be grateful because she's not the bad kind of wife. I am grateful, but I'm also tired. Tired of being a version of myself that's acceptable to her. I'm tired of not having space to grow. I still love her, but I feel like I've had to trade me to keep us. Have any other men felt this way in marriage? Does it make me ungrateful to want more? Not even more money or pleasure, just more of myself. Well, that's a story from today's anonymous person. But something about this story is that I barely get stories or I barely get questions from men. So I think this one is a major one. This man is definitely very disturbed. Men really, they rarely share their battles. So we really have to talk about this and give some advice to this man. And hey, if this story is hitting close to home for you or someone close to you or someone you know, please go ahead and like this video, drop a comment with a take, and if you've got your own story, share it with us anonymously there's a link on the description of this video. Someone might just need your truth. I'll be waiting for your stories. So let's get into today's story today. First thing I would say is about emotional safety. Emotional safety matters in marriage. I've heard a lot of couples, talk about every other thing going fine with them and it looks like they're okay, but emotionally they still have some work to do. So even when there is no conflict, emotional safety matters. And just because you don't have fight with your partner doesn't mean that everything is healthy. Silence can be so heavy between two people and you just want to go your way. Another thing is that you can love your partner and still feel unseen. Yes, that's what happens when there is an emotional glitch between two people. And many men feel guilty of wanting more when their wives, are good people. Same with women too. But love and fulfillment are not the same thing. Emotional fulfillment is a key thing in marriage. Also, when someone suppresses their identity to keep peace, it will only cause quiet resentment. Whether you like it now or later, it will show up. Some healthy marriages most healthy marriage allow both couples to grow individually and not for one person to shrink. Communication between these two persons must include honesty, different updates. Bringing up your feelings is not complaining. When you talk to your partner and say, this is what I feel, it's not complaining. It's choosing courage, Courage over comfort. One way out for this is to seek a marriage course. I'll tell you to go for therapy. I'll tell you to go for coaching. I would want someone else to talk to your wife. And sometimes the truth is that, yes, you might not want to bring third party into your marriage, but it gets to a time where someone else needs to talk to one of you or both of you. It gets to times when quietness or silence is not it. It gets to a phase in marriage that silence doesn't do good to your marriage. It gets to that phase in marriage when you don't allow time to heal it, when you're not doing anything. Solution comes when you seek help. So I'll tell this person, you would really need to go for a therapy session or a coaching session or a counseling session. If you've listened to my video before now, you would agree with this fact that I always spill out that says marriage counseling, therapy or coaching, it's not for broken people. It's for people that care about their marriage, that care about their relationship and want help. I would say you should seek someone that can speak to both of you, probably a counselor, and make both of you, to stop thinking just about yourself. Because when the man is learning to think about the spouse, that's where love comes in. That's how selflessness comes in. Not just thinking about yourself, I'm happy, everything is okay, but it's your spouse happy in your relationship. Can you beat your chest and say, yes, my spouse is happy in this relationship, my spouse is fulfilled in this marriage? This is not just a question from just one man. I feel it's an appeal, or it's a spill of, or it's a plea from many men in marriage that are just there and they're just trying to make it work. They're just trying to be there. They don't want to be the one always complaining, or possibly they've spoken a few times and they've been shut down by their spouses. I see some men in marriage that they're tired of, complaining, and then they're just silent and they just ignore, and then their spouse just takes their silence for consent. Their spouse takes that silence for comfort and say, my husband is happy, he's okay, he's not saying anything, so he's okay with it. He doesn't have an issue with it. Daily check-ins always come in play. I say daily check-ins because don't assume that your husband was happy yesterday and you feel he's happy today, or your wife is happy yesterday and you feel she's happy today. When was the last time you called your spouse and say, honey, sweetie, or wifey, or whatever you call your husband, or call his name, or whichever pet name you address him with, and say, are you happy in this marriage? Am I being the best wife? Am I being the wife you dreamt of? Am I your dream wife? I ask that question. Like, I can't even assume that he's happy, and I want him to ask me that question too. Are you happy? He does. My husband asked me, I said, are you happy in this marriage? Am I treating you well? Am I taking care of you? And then you'll be truthful to yourself to say, well, you're doing well, but you've not been doing this so lately. I've not been really feeling loved lately. And I think that's where the intentionality comes in. I think that is where emotional intentionality comes in, to say, I am here to make my spouse happy. I know they will come for me now to say, oh, your spouse should not make you happy, you make yourself happy. But beyond making yourself happy, I think if you are married, the next thing is for you to also make your spouse happy, beyond you making yourself happy. So take that from this video. Ask your spouse, am I being the best wife to you? Am I being the best husband to you? Are you fulfilled in this marriage? It's a check-in. You should not be, afraid to ask that question, or afraid to hear what you want to hear. You should always be prepared to hear that feedback and take it up for improvement. Your marriage should be better than it was yesterday. Your marriage every year should be better than it was the previous year. You should be evolving in your marriage as you're growing, as you're getting older every year. That is how your relationship should be, if you deliberately nurture it. And I hope this answer helps. I'll be waiting for your comments. What do you think this man should do? There is no scandal, everything seems well, but the man has lost himself in his marriage. There's peace in his marriage, but he's not feeling it. He has lost himself. Or have you been in that situation, or someone close to you have been in that situation? I want you to write on the comments. And you know what? Your comment helps someone else to get out of that situation or know what next to do if they find themselves in that same circumstance. Thank you for watching this video. There's another story here you would want to hear, that's from a woman. You watch that video now, and I'll see you right over there.